4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, how are you all doing?
Hello.
I think I forgot to press the go live bit at the beginning of that. So before I start with the introduction and what we're going to do tonight, just a little bit of sad news. As I guess many of you will know, there was a fatal accident on Tuesday. Unfortunately, we lost Richard Warner, who was known on the Flyer forum as Whiskey Kilo Wanderer, and so many people would have bumped into Richard and his partner Chump Chump over the airfields over the. He was just a really nice guy, super generous, and so very sad and tragic. And some of you would also have known or heard about, or all of you would have heard about, I guess, the Sea Fury that had a forced landing following what looks like an engine failure. So some of you may not know, but the guy in the back was Dave Unwin. So Dave, I believe, is sort of been released from hospital, got a bit of a sore back. So we just like to wish Dave well. Hope you get well, Dave.
Get well soon,
Dave.
Dave.
Get well soon. But don't bring your bad jokes back, please. So anyway, before too long, we're going to nip into Simon Keeling, who's going to bring you a spot, which we're going to call Something for the Weekend. Then we're going to look at news. We're going to have a chat about films and film premieres. We're going to have a little chat about stuff that's been going on, the magazine, a fly out, and just that kind of thing generally. So after that, let me hand over to Simon, who's going to tell us all about whatever he's doing this weekend, I think. Simon, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. What am I doing this weekend? Well, I'm flying tomorrow, so actually that's the only day that I care about weather-wise. But I know that a few of you might be interested in what's coming up as well through Saturday and Sunday. And we've got a bit of a scorcher coming up, as Ian was saying last week. El Scorcho. That's what it's going to be, particularly across southern parts of the country as we go through this weekend. Saturday looks as if it's a good day for flying. Very little cloud around, particularly across more northern and western parts of the country. Eastern areas, maybe a little bit of cloud developing just as an easterly wind picks up during the afternoon. But I'm looking at the chart here and it's telling me base is probably at around 4,000 feet on Saturday afternoon. Tops are about 8,000 feet. It's well broken cloud, but the problem we have is that with the buildup of heat on Saturday afternoon, there could just be one or two isolated thunderstorms going off, particularly across central and eastern parts of England. Now, at the moment, I think these are going to come from sort of medium level clouds. So high base cumulonimbus at sort of 7,000 feet if they occur. So just be aware of that. They're not going to be a classic large cumulonimbus. It's going to be actually mid-level stuff that goes off. So keep a careful eye on the TAFs and Form 215 as well, because I'm sure the guys will pick it up on there for Saturday afternoon. As I say, that easterly breeze picking up across eastern areas as well. Nothing too much to worry about. Surface winds probably about 15 to 18 knots. And then Sunday looks like being a breezier day again, particularly across eastern areas. More cloud around generally on Sunday, but still flyable. Of course, though, with an easterly flow, that is quite scrappy across the UK. We do get a little bit of turbulence with that, so I'm expecting that through Sunday. And again, there may just be some isolated showers across the Midlands, eastern parts of Wales, probably running into northern England as well. And I don't expect thunderstorms or anything like that during Sunday afternoon. Eastern coast of England, just another little complication across northeast England and eastern Scotland. Maybe a bit of low cloud there, could be a little bit of sea mist and fog developing. And again, through the channel, something just to watch if you're looking at doing a cross channel on Sunday. Just keep your eye on those TAFs across northern parts of France for Sunday afternoon. There could be some sea fog just drifting onto the coast of northern France and southern coast of England on Sunday afternoon. So it's a little bit more complicated for Sunday. Saturday at the moment looks to be the better of the days. Although, like I say, just watch out for those isolated thunderstorms on Saturday afternoon. It's not a bad one, is it, really?
It's not. Are you flying?
I am tomorrow. Yeah, 9 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be me. I'm flying out Hackney Green. It's my second lesson since lockdown, so I'm looking forward to that.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that, Simon. And we look forward to scoring your accuracy next week.
Look, if it's wrong, remember my name is Bill Giles.
Thanks very much.
See you all. Bye.
Cheers,
Bye.
Bye. Hello. Back
Hello.
again. Well, that was. Looks like we're in for a bit of a warm and hot one, doesn't it, this weekend?
Yeah.
So on to the news, I guess. Dave, tell us what's going on in the news.
Yeah, on Monday, I went down to Old Sarum Airfield just to find out what was going on there. I met up with Grenville Hodge, who's one of the directors of Old Sarum Airfield, and I also met a chap called Gordon Braymeyer, who runs the parachuting operation Ghost Go Dive. He also runs a flying school there called Go Fly. There's a bit of a theme going on there. And anyway, you have to say that Ghost Go Dive is a fantastically well-organised company. They really have pretty much taken over the cafe area and the offices area, and they run people through at a fair rate. They're running at about 30% of their full capacity, but even so, it's pretty packed. Now, what's happening at Old Sarum is that the final appeal for the planning development has failed. So it's been rejected. So that means the people who wanted to develop some housing on the airfield are not going to be able to do that. Now they've decided to go back to what Old Sarum used to be, which is a fully operational airfield, but it's going to take a bit of a time to get there because they need to do things in stages. There's lots of things to put in place. The tower isn't currently operational, and they need to do that. They need to get their CAA license back if they're going to run the kind of movements they used to do. But they are looking at returning the airfield to full flying. And if they manage to bring in a couple more flying schools, they could even get up to 90,000 movements a year. That sounds a lot, but in fact, back in the day, before 2007, when they started to shut down the flying a bit, they were up at very high levels, and it was very successful. Now you might be asking, why did they go down this route at all? Well, it's because originally Salisbury Council came to them and said, we're getting lots of noise complaints. What can we do? So the only answer about noise complaints is to reduce the amount of flying. And the airfield management maintains that there was an agreement between them and the council that in return for reducing the number of movements, they could develop the airfield, do bits of the airfield, put houses around the outside to make up for the lost income from not flying. But it took right until from 2007 right up till now to get to this point. Anyway, so it seems like good news, but there are a lot of people with fairly entrenched positions, and those things have got to be somehow ironed over and sorted out.
Yeah, I think it's I probably shouldn't say what I think, but I think it's a situation that should probably never have been allowed. Ideally, shouldn't have been allowed to get to where it is today, but it has. And so let's keep our fingers crossed. I quite fancy flying in there. I don't fancy skydiving at all, to be honest.
No, but the return of an airfield is good news.
It's good news. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Continuing slightly the sad theme that we started with, I think it was yesterday. In France, Pierre Robin passed away. I don't know how old he was, to be perfectly honest, but I think
he was 95.
95, yeah.
I think I read that.
So good old Pierre Robin, responsible for
thousands of robins.
Thousands of robins, an awful lot. And that DR400 will continue flying throughout France, and not perhaps throughout the entire world, but throughout Europe, certainly, an awful lot. So well done, Pierre.
Certainly, as names go in general aviation, I think he's probably one of the most influential for Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree.
Yeah,
he's probably the only manufacturer who uses wood still for airframes, isn't he?
You might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you know any different, tell us in the comments. Yeah, look forward to that. So, sorry, Dave, I didn't want to interrupt. How are you doing? What's next?
What's next is the CAA has extended the extensions for the validity. I've managed to say that this time. The validity of medicals and type license ratings, such as SEP ratings. So they've extended it until sometime in November, because clearly things aren't quite back to normal yet.
Yeah. It's a kind of fearsomely complex series of ORS pieces of paper that you're going to have to just sit. Frankly, if we were to do a program on this, it would probably be the dullest thing on TV. It would be duller than the test card.
It would be the dull stream.
The dull stream. Yeah, there you go. The Flyer dull stream. There you go.
If you want to find out more about it, you can go to the Flyer website, and there is a news story about it with all the links that you could possibly ever want to have to the various bits of exemptions.
Take a cup of tea and spend some time.
Yes.
Andy Kennedy is telling us the SpaceX SD2 is wood. I don't know if that's in serial production or not, though.
Well, so the SD1 and the 2, so the single seat, and they are ready to fly aeroplanes. So that's true. Well done, Andy.
Well done, Andy. And Nigel comes up. Well, I need to turn Andy off first. How do I do that?
Well,
there you go. And Nigel's come up with a slight correction on Pierre Robin at 93. There you go.
2 out.
Daya, there's a Daya story as well, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Yes. Daya, who make the TBM 940, are the first of the 3 manufacturers to incorporate Garmin's Autoland system. They're the first to get certification in Europe. You might be surprised if they weren't, given that the other 2 are American. But anyway, they have, and well done to them. It's no easy matter getting certification for anything. So well done to them.
Dave, you're too young to be that cynical.
So moving on.
Talking of cynical, let me move this picture on. There you go. And bring it back. There you go.
Wow.
This is the new Concorde, or at least it will be if it comes to fruition. It's a design unveiled by Virgin Galactic this week. They're working with Rolls-Royce, who will provide the engine power. It looks remarkably like a modern Concorde with that big delta wing, but it's still, at the moment, it's still a very much a concept. They are working with NASA, so who knows? It might happen.
It's a bit tiny, isn't it? It's something like 18 seats.
Yes, they're not making it into full airliner size.
Yeah,
I guess that's really difficult when you're going to go super. In fact, they're talking about Mach 3, which is an astonishing speed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should we start the sweepstakes of likelihood of success?
Yes.
It does seem a bit strange, doesn't it? In the same week as Virgin Atlantic are on the brink of collapse.
Yeah.
Virgin Galactic should announce this.
Yeah. Timing? Yeah.
Timing, not great.
I mean, sometime in the future.
Yes. Jonathan Holland says, just lifting this from the comments, do you actually live in your hangar? It's not true. I do actually have a home to go to, but I know I always seem to be here.
No, he does live in his hangar. That's very...
We should tell you that when we do our inter-office Zooms, Ed's always still there.
Yeah.
It just changes the background. Just a quick bit of news, because it's kind of heartening to see this kind of thing happening. A little bit of our investment. Easter Airfield up in Scotland has a new shepherd's hut, I think they're called, very trendy kind of thing, for overnight accommodation. So if you fancy a trip up to Scotland with an overnight, then why not go to Easter and make use of their shepherd's hut? Now, we're running a little bit behind time, so I was also going to show you a video, because there's a new strip about 8 miles, I think it's 8 miles or 8 minutes away from there. That's kind of Newhall Mains is the place. Unfortunately, you can't just land at Newhall Mains, because although it's a nice strip and it looks beautiful, it's kind of attached to a very nice hotel. So if the shepherd's hut is not your kind of thing and you're looking for a super posh hotel, Newhall Mains is probably your thing. And at the moment, because they've just opened the strip, they've been really, really careful about PPR and about it not getting used too often. So you kind of have to book a room to use the strip, really. But just thought I'd let you know.
It's awesome to have another hotel, though, that you can land at.
You can land at, yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's. I suspect they do some pretty good nights and some pretty good food. Unfortunately, if you go to Scotland, I think people tend to drink whiskey, which is just like the drink of the devil. It's horrible.
And if you sit outside, you get eaten by bugs.
apart from both of
But
those,
apart from that,
and Stuart Truman says that's Freedom Aviation's northern base. They've got a trip planned for September.
I think he's talking about Easter.
Yes, no, indeed. I don't know how many people there are at Freedom Aviation, but it's going to be mighty packed in that little shepherd site if that's where they're staying.
Yeah, Freedom are a really big club based at Cotswold, really progressive.
Indeed.
Lots of trips. Yeah.
Excellent. So let me just move back into this part. So some of you, if you've been looking on social media, you would have noticed that a few people have been promoting a bit of a film that's coming out. Well, I say a film, it's a promotional video, but it's taken an awful lot of work. And this one's sort of based after Top Gun. Now, we all know the Top Gun film was due. When was it originally due? This week?
It was due June this year, wasn't it? And then it got pushed back to winter this year. And I think now they've said it's going to be June 2021. So
yeah. So looking at it, it was made with a budget of 15 million quid, which I think is similar to this promotional film. And they had something like 47 million people watch it, although obviously if you include TV, which you were talking about earlier, that's even more. So let's just run you a little trailer of the film, and then we'll come back to that for a second. Here you go.
Welcome to Ultimate High Top Gun.
Guns alive! Guns, guns, guns! Watch and kill!
Wow. So that is due to premiere tonight, the full-length version of that, which I think is 3 minutes long. So they got good value for 15 million bucks, didn't they?
That's a soundtrack from the 80s, and no mistake.
So that is due to preview at 8:05 tonight. I put the thing up there, but it's tinyurl.com/UH Top Gun. So Ultimate High's YouTube channel, and it's over on the Redison Films. You can get a link there, and I will actually put a link in. I'll put a link in the comments box towards the end here, so you can click. I'm not going to put it in there now because you'll just click on it and go, and that'll be tragic, won't it?
Yeah, Dave White says, "I think I may have over-cheesed. I think it happened to us all momentarily."
There is nothing wrong with cheese, but before we move on, no, Ed, there really is nothing wrong with cheese.
That was like fondue.
Before we move on, just a quick. Yeah, what am I talking about? Come on,
Aviation films.
Right.
Yes.
I was speaking to Mark Greenfield of Ultimate High, and he has offered to Flyer Club members a 15% discount on all Top Gun profiles. So if you fancy flying air-to-air combat in a pair of Slingsbys, then give Mark Greenfield a call, watch the video first, and if you're a member of the Flyer Club, you get 15% off. And I'm going to guess that 15% is worth more than the £2.50 a month it will cost you to join the Flyer Club. So if you're not a member, why not?
I would think so, and I'm sure he won't subject you to the music.
It's an earworm. It's running at the moment for me.
That's it. Yeah.
So that kind of got us thinking. Favorite films, favorite aviation films. Who's got some favorite films out there?
Yeah. So if you've got a favorite aviation film, tell us in the comments. And we've got some to start you off. And I've got to say, when Ian suggested this earlier, the one that crept into my mind is from 1991. Some of you may know this, but it's a film called The Rocketeer.
I think I've probably got one of those.
What's that? Oh, hang on. Are we out of sequence here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, keep going. One more. There we go. The Rocketeer, which is all about a guy. It's in the 30s. It involves a kind of fictional basis of around Howard Hughes and the creation of a rocket pack. But it's got some great flying sequences in it with a whole bunch of golden age racers. So there's Travel Air Mystery Ship, GB Model Z, monocoups and all sorts, and it's a great film. It's a Disney one. It's really underrated, so but you can find it on all the various streaming services. If you've not seen it, then you should definitely go and give it a try. So, and my other one, which cropped up, which you may have seen the photos for, and while we were prepping earlier, I showed the guys the famous opening sequence is Always, which is a 1989 film with Richard Dreyfuss and John Goodman, and it's about a bunch of guys who are firebombers. And it's another great tale. But anyway, there's this fantastic opening sequence involving a Catalina and two guys on a fishing boat, and it's that's worth a watch. Kind of old films, but definitely worth going back and revisiting if you've not seen them.
I would just like to point out at this particular point in time that when you said we were out of sync, we never actually agreed a sync to be in.
That's true.
That was so let's start at the beginning. That's Dave's favourite film, isn't it?
It's one of my favorite films. It's Air America, of course, where a very young Mel Gibson and a very young Robert Downey Jr. are supposed to be a covert CIA unit in Cambodia. This is them having a pretty good realistic crash in I don't know, actually, I'm not sure what the aeroplane is, but
it's a C-119 packet, I think, isn't it?
Is it right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the crash is pretty spectacular, and this is pretty much the final bit of the crash where they're trying to spin it round. Well, it went into a spin round to try and lose some momentum, lose some energy. But so that's a great film. There's a lot of good flying sequences. It's a bit
Dave,
Hollywood, of course, but
yes, yeah. Sorry, Dave White's just corrected me. It's a C-123 provider. I failed.
No.
Dave, you're now the new editor of Flyer.
Congratulations. Melanie Moxon has actually written out. She's put. Hate to say it, but it has to be Top Gun. It was the first one she ever. Melanie, it was probably great at the time. You probably look at some other films. Not like many. Which one's that then?
That was all. That's another screenshot from Always. So there's the Catalina. There's A-26 invaders in that. Rocketeer, scroll on. That's the racing.
Rocketeer.
It must be your turn. Oh no, it's another one for Dave.
This is the Aviator, which is a Martin Scorsese film with Leo DiCaprio as playing Howard Hughes. It's a lengthy film. Howard Hughes, who inherited a tool company and lots of money, he tried to make films. He tried to make a World War I film, and then he went on to do all sorts of great aviation stuff. The movie is fantastic. It really is a great Hollywood movie. You don't get bored any time in it. And there's a great scene of him flying. I don't know whether he did this for real, but he must have done something like it. Flying his racing thing, the one he wanted to break the 200-mile-an-hour barrier with, and he flies it, breaks the speed record, and then crashes it into a field of corn. So
that's true.
That's true. Yeah.
That was true.
Well, I struggle because I'm not a great film buff. It has to be said. I don't watch that many films or listen to that much music. But I was reminded of a film I did actually go to watch. In fact, I was really lucky. I went to the premiere of this film in Los Angeles. Not quite a red carpet or anything.
No.
Does anyone recognise that?
It's got to be 1-6 right, isn't it?
It is absolutely 1-6 right. Absolutely, you've got it. And that, I have to say, was bear in mind when it was done. It was the guy who directed it and edited it, a guy called Brian Terwilliger, was kind of everything was edited on Macs, but this was kind of long time ago. So it's not like the Macs of today with Adobe Premiere and stuff like that. It was kind of a really clunky, slow process, but pretty impressive film. And I think not made for $15 million either. I think made significantly cheaper than that.
No, that's 1-6 right is just such it's beautifully crafted and just full of so many fantastic stories, and it's all related to Van Nuys Airport.
Van Nuys has got 2 runways, 1-6 right, 1-6 left.
Yeah,
right's the long one, 1-6 left's the tiny one. And there used to be, I don't know if it's still there. There used to be like a little wartime themed diner type thing where you could go and get your buffalo burger and your root beer or whatever it was, and sit out on the patio and just watch the traffic coming in on 1-6 right and 1-6 left. And it was pretty funky airport, Van Nuys. Pretty busy place.
Yes, I flew in there once. God, talk about busy.
Are you in the film?
And radio. I wasn't on the film though. The radio, gosh damn, it's so fast.
Yeah.
Really be on it, yeah.
Someone's there's a good suggestion here. Chris Ackroyd says Iron Eagle, which is a kind of Top Gun spoofy type film, and it's got a Cessna 150 chase scene in it, which is actually pretty bloody good. It's really good.
Oh, so there's another post from the new editor of Flyer.
Yes,
Larry Hagman in Deadly Encounter. Awful movie, but great helicopter chase sequences and a Hughes 500 killer egg.
Yes, I don't think that was the official product name for the Hughes 500, was it? No.
I think it was. Dinner when I was 94th Air Squadron. Sorry, there you go. Nigel reminding us that Dinner at the Nice Airport is the 94th Air Squadron. That's right. I'd forgotten that completely. Diner. Sorry, not dinner.
Diner, not dinner.
Can't even read. Thanks, Nigel, for that. We've surprisingly only got 4 minutes left. So how
did that happen?
I'm not quite sure how that happened. So let's just have a quick canter through that. Ed and I won't show you the pictures. We've got loads, so maybe for another time. Ed and I went to Lunkosh last Sunday on Lundy. That was a bloody amazing fly out. Some of you people there. Great. 80 visiting aircraft they had in the end, 30 of them vintage. And as Ed pointed out, that was probably the biggest fly-in.
It's certainly going to be the biggest fly-in in the UK, I think, this year. And I'd put money on it being the biggest. There might maybe tell us if you know, but I'm not sure there's many bigger fly-ins happening elsewhere. So I'm going to go. Pete White organised the biggest fly-in in the world.
I'm just liking the fact that Pete White can go. Me and my team. Yeah, I remember when we did fly-ins at Lundy, we had more aerial visitors than Oshkosh.
Yeah, well, definitely more aerial visitors than Oshkosh this year.
Say that very often, can you?
No. Well done, Pete. It was a fantastic event, very well organised, and well done to everyone who flew in. It's a challenging strip, and there was a lot of really good airmanship. So,
and we even made it as well.
yeah. I thought it was fun on approach. You go just as the rain appears. It's like, where's the strip gone?
I know it was a bit weird, wasn't it? Next event. Events are a bit sparse at the moment, aren't they? So the next one we could see in the calendar was actually taking place. If you know different, let us know. Aero Jumble at Popham on August the 15th.
Yes. And there was one that popped up in my Facebook feed. Some friends went. There was a really good event at Duxford. They have they're having kind of fly shows that you can fly into. They're just kind of small scale. And there's another one happening in August. So check out the Imperial War Museum site for that. But that looked like that was good fun.
That was the one that the Sea Fury.
That the Sea Fury departed. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so looking at this, we've got 2 minutes left, so I think we ought to dash over and have a quick chat, Ed, about the magazine, because we've got
the magazine is out. There we go. There's a new one, a new issue out, published on Tuesday. Check it out to find out more about the JMB aircraft VL3 TE-915, which is the 600 kilogram retractable gear microlight from the Czech Republic, powered by the 141 horsepower Rotax 915. Awesome bit of kit, a good insight into the sort of things that we could be seeing in the UK under the new 600 kg rules. There's a great write-up of a trip. It was for Oshkosh a few years ago, and it's taking a whole bunch of cubs on floats, the real slow way to Oshkosh. That's a real enjoyable read. Fantastic flying adventure from one of our regulars, Paul Kiddle, where he goes stripping for a day. And that's not what you think. It's just checking out a whole bunch of strips with friends. So if you want some good armchair strip flying fun, then that's one to check out. There's Ian's Top Gear review of the Garmin Era 760. So find out if that's a good competitor for tablets. Plus all the usual columns, news, and find out about the free landing fees. Check out the gallery of all the Fly Club members doing fun stuff as well. So there we go.
Yes.
Excellent. So just a quick one before we finish. Courtney Chambers said we had 96 aircraft over the two visit New Farm Airfield, Piddington, Northampton for our flying last weekend. I think it's over 2 days. So that's kind of a well done, but maybe not quite unless I've got it right.
You get the title for biggest 2-day event.
Biggest 2-day event. There you go. And I think that's about it. Just a quick thing. Obviously, everybody who's not a member of the Flyer Club needs to join the Flyer Club. And I am just putting up in the comments now the URL for everyone to click on. In 5 minutes' time, you've got the premiere of that ultimately the full 3 minutes. We just gave you 30 seconds.
That's it. So all we can say is brace yourself for that cheese.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't forget, 15% off of that one if you fancy a Top Gear experience of your own. If you're a Flyer Club member, and if you're not, why not? Come on, makes
Top
sense.
Gun even, not Top Gear.
top something, top cheese. Anyway,
Top cheese.
Thank you very much, everyone. Click that link, head on over. I'll see you over there, and we'll see you all next week. And this has all gone very, very quickly. Thanks very much. Have a good one.
Thanks for all coming along. Have a great weekend. Fly safe.
Great hot weekend. Don't forget that suntan lotion.